Right, he's ready for another one. Give us an old wave of the hands if you're ready for another one. Oh, it's so loud. Your hands are brilliant. Now, I was thinking of what stories to tell you, and it's a strange thing to think about the great internet of people and what stories they might need. And this came up, so here goes. I'll tell you this one, and then we'll see where we are. Do you remember long, long ago what we were like? Do you remember? We weren't like this. No. We weren't so small or so straight. We were round. We were big, round creatures. All human beings were round, like great creatures. And we didn't have 2 arms. We had 4 arms. We didn't have 2 legs. We had 4 legs. Oh, we were amazing. And there were only 3 kinds of humans. There was the children of the sun, and they had big round bodies, and they had 4 arms and 4 legs and 2 heads, and they had 2 members. We don't know who's watching, so we'll use a euphemism. And then there was the children of the moon. Oh, the children of the moon, they were round, and they had 4 arms and 4 legs and 2 heads and 2 mouths and 4 breasts. And then there were the children of the earth. Oh, the children of the earth, round, 4 arms, 4 legs, 2 heads, and 1 member and 1 mouth. 2 breasts and a chest. Now, back when we were like that, oh, the fun we had. We used to, well, we didn't walk anywhere, we rolled everywhere. And whenever we rolled, cartwheeling around the earth, we'd be laughing. And when we were laughing, the earth would be shaking with the sounds of all our feet and all our hands hitting the earth. And we made a lot of noise. We were so happy. And we probably made too much noise. I only say that because of what happened next. Our noise was so loud, our happiness was so great that the gods themselves heard us. And at that time, one of the gods looking down was Zeus. And Zeus, head of the Greek pantheon at the time, just been elected to CEO position, and he looked down and he heard all that noise. And he looked down at how happy we were. And he noticed that us humans, we were so busy cavorting and cartwheeling around and so happy that we weren't paying homage to him. All his altars were empty. And a god hates to be ignored. And so Zeus decided that humans needed a lesson in humility. And so he called for his friend Apollo, and he pointed down at the great swathe of humans down below, and he said, "We're going there. Get your sword." So Apollo reached for his great and mighty divine sword, and the 2 gods traveled down to the earth. And when they got there, Apollo pulled out that sword and he wielded it in such a way that it cut every single one of us in 2. Straight down the middle we were cut. Split in 2 we were cut. We were cut so we only had 2 arms and 2 legs. We had 1 head and we had a member or a mound. We had a chest or we had breasts, and we were split in 2. And Zeus was happy. Zeus was so happy he made his way back up to his great pantheon to celebrate. But the other gods, they didn't celebrate. They didn't know what he had done until they heard the sound. And it was a sound of crying and keening and wailing. And they looked down, and all human beings, children of the sun, the moon, of the earth, they were crawling along the ground. Their heads were pointed one way, their genitals were pointed the other. They had this great wound, they couldn't find anybody. They were eating dirt, they were so sad. They'd forgotten to eat, forgotten to drink, they were dying. The gods saw this. And you know what? That looked like the work of Zeus. So all of them gathered at Zeus's door. And even when you're the leader, even when you're the father, when you're the god of all the gods, when all the other gods decide you've done something wrong, you have to pay attention. And they said, "Zeus, fix it." And he said, "What? They're better now." And he said, "No, they're dying. They'll never pray to us. Fix it." So Zeus, he grabbed Apollo, and the 2 of them headed down to our realm. And Apollo, with his great hands, he reached out and he began to gather us up. He began to pinch the skin that he had cut open. He began to pull it and heal it back together. And there was there was quite a bit of skin. So he twisted it and tied it up in a little knot, which you still have to this day. And Zeus, he went and he turned our heads so that we were facing the same way as our genitals. And this way it was easier to find each other. So our wounds were healed. We had 2 arms and 2 legs, 1 head. And we've never forgotten. Not really. It's in our bones. We remember what it was like. And so we travel the earth and we're searching and we're searching. And that's why, my friends, there are men who love men, children of the sun. There are women who love women, children of the moon. There are men who love women and women who love men, children of the earth. And every time there's a chance, we try to find out if that's the one we're looking for. And we wrap our arms tight around each other, and for a moment, we remember what it was like. Sinead Mushgale, that is my story. I'm going to put the pictures back on all of you.